Alright, let's do this harder one now, right? So hopefully it's not too hard. But let's look at this. So this one says South Korea, the home of size Gangnam style, is one of the largest producers of kimchi and kimchi derivatives, traditional fermented Korean side dishes made of vegetables with a variety of seasonings, most of which is consumed there and in Japan. Okay, really, really long sentence, but you know, you don't need to really be worried about it. You're gonna learn to, you know, take apart all these sentences later. It's grammar, I think, is, you know, really, really logical, but because of so many exceptions, we just can't apply general rules to everything, right? But let's look at this. It says South Korea, the home of size Gangnam style. This is again in a positive, right? So it's not the main part, and there's nothing wrong with that. So let's take that out. It says South Korea is. So this is the subject, and this is the verb. Right? Is one of the world's largest producers of kimchi and kimchi derivatives. That's the main idea of the sentence, really. That's it. Right? Everything else, you know, it's modifiers, right? But there's nothing wrong in this part of the sentence. South Korea is one of the largest producers, right? But there is something wrong with the sentence, so let's read on, right? Derivatives, traditional fermented side dishes made of vegetables with a variety of seasonings, most of which is consumed there and in Japan. This is what's wrong right here. Most means many. Many of what? Not these things. This is, again, a modifier. I don't want to say modifier. It's in a positive, which can redescribe a noun, right? So, it's one of the largest producers of kimchi and kimchi derivatives. So, these things are plural. Kimchi, one, and kimchi derivatives, two, and way more than two, because it says derivatives, many. Right? So most of which is consumed, no, it should be most of which are consumed there and in Japan. Okay? A lot of kids actually think there's nothing wrong with the sentence, right? Because if you really check the basic operative subject and verb, it's correct. But there's other subject and verbs, well, these are not really subject and verbs, that are main idea, because which refers to these things before. But it's still wrong, and SAT will give you errors like this. Sometimes they'll even give you inverted questions, which basically means that they put the subject in the back and the verb in the front. For example, they would say, there were one people. I know that sounds really, really weird, but that sentence can actually get more complicated, and they can try to trick you, right? Or not can, they will. Right? So in this case, the error is this part over here, most of which, and which is referring to kimchi, not seasonings, right? Most of which is consumed, no, are consumed.